Securities offered through TJ Stearns, a registered representative of Crown Capital Securities LP, member FINRA SIPC. Content is intended to provide accurate information, however, is not intended as financial, tax, or legal advice. Please consult a financial, legal, or tax professional for specific information regarding your individual situation. Opinions expressed and provided are for general informational purposes only and should not be considered a solicitation for the purchase or sale of any security.
Welcome to Protect and Grow with Chicagoland certified financial planner Tim Stearns of TJ Stearns Incorporated. Trust, respect, and results. TJ Stearns Incorporated focuses on comprehensive financial planning and benefits.
And welcome into the program. This is Protect and Grow Chicagoland Retirement with Chicagoland's CFP certified financial planner Tim Stearns, helping us navigate the complex financial world. We always appreciate your guidance and perspective, Tim.
Peter, thanks again for having me.
We always do enjoy the time and sincerely appreciate the guidance that you provide here on the program, because it can be difficult to figure out where to go, what direction to turn in this financial world. Now, you've got this great resource, the Retirement Roadblocks. These detail 7 financial risks that planners need to avoid and talk a little bit about what those risks mean to us in retirement if we don't avoid them. So Tim, a great resource here, and we wanted to cover some of these financial and retirement roadblocks on today's program.
Right. And Peter, this is one of those things that we actually give at my classes. It's a great handout. 7 financial risks to avoid. Retirement roadblocks is literally the name of it. It's real straightforward. You don't have to be a doctor in finance to understand the concepts in here. But I also think there's some really good stuff in here that people don't talk about. And, so that's why we really enjoy it, because it points out some things to people that need to be aware of in retirement, stuff that could derail their retirement.
Well, if you would like a copy of the Retirement Roadblocks Report, ladies and gentlemen, 7 financial risks to avoid, pick up the phone and give TJ Stearns, CFP Tim Stearns, a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. Now, Tim, number 1 in this is longevity, not necessarily something that we want to avoid, but something that we want to be prepared for.
Well, yeah, I mean, longevity risk is probably one of the biggest things that we have out there nowadays. People are living longer and longer. The chances of a 65-year-old male living to be 85 are very good. For a female, it goes up even to 88. And that's if you don't have a pension and you're only relying on Social Security and your 401k that you put money in since the 1970s, if you're most baby boomers, then, longevity risk is a real thing. Because you're not getting, huge cost of living adjustments from Social Security. Interesting. A lot of people don't know that when they do, they use the Consumer Price Index, right? Social Security Administration, but they strip out a lot of things in there. Gas, food, the cost of those things. So they say, no, there's no inflation, and those are the things that, if you look at the gas prices nowadays, it's nearly double what it was a year ago. So those are issues that, cost of living adjustments with Social Security is not the answer. So how do you address longevity risk? I'll say it right now. You need to do an income allocation plan, and that's huge.
Tim, the income allocation plan is the part of the financial plan that you design that's specifically designed to address a lifetime of income, making sure that as long as we're around, we've got income that we can count and depend on. Since longevity has become an increasing factor of risk to retirements, it would make sense to me that we have a plan to address it. Now, Tim, if we are reaching retirement age, if we are hitting 60 or 65 years of age, that to me probably indicates that we are the half of the population that brings those life expectancies up, not the half that brings them down. We really, if we hit retirement time, we've got to plan on making a good deal of time longer.
Right. And a 30 plus year retirement, it's a real thing. Social Security was created, people's lifetime in, longevity for people was maybe 5 years in retirement. Now you're looking at 30 plus years and you don't have pensions in most cases. So that's something else that people need to be wary of. And that's why when we do an income allocation plan, we plan for 30 plus years. And you don't just plan on one spouse, you got to do it on both.
Well, again, if you want to have that plan, you have to have specifically that income allocation plan designed to address longevity, just one of the 7 retirement roadblocks that Tim has outlined in the new report, Retirement Roadblocks, 7 Financial Risks to Avoid. If you'd like a copy, pick up the phone, give a call, 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. And Tim, over a longer lifespan, we are seeing it right now, but it really makes an impact when it compounds itself over years. Inflation is a risk that we need to avoid. It is a potential roadblock to a successful and content and quality of life retirement.
Well, I mean, the Fed has talked about how they're a little concerned about inflation rates going through the roof with all the money that they've been printing.
Them and me
so,
both.
Yeah, it's a real thing. So, gas prices are exorbitant, as we spoke of. So these are things that people need to be wary of. Inflation, can be a deal killer. We call it in our retirement classes, we call it the silent thief, because it's there every day. And I think I've told you this before. We literally have the Sears catalog from 1976, and you could put 4 tires on a car for $200. And nowadays, those 4 tires cost about $800. So if you want to see a real life example of it, that's it.
Well, Tim, you've got a great chart in your booklet here that shows what the inflation rates have been from 1960 to 2020. So
right.
60 years there, the average historical inflation rate has been 3.7%. There has been a lot of times where it's been lower than that, but there are several instances where it spikes above that. Now, you've got another chart where it shows you how impactful inflation could be and the need to double the amount of income, because if inflation is present, your expenses will continue to rise. A 2% inflation rate, your money needs to double every 36 years. Your income needs to double every 36 years. A 3% inflation, you have a need to double your income every 24 years. The average has been 3.7%, and we're worried about being higher than average, Tim.
Right. And that's one of the things we tell people when we come in to do the income allocation plan, is that you need to make sure your dollar doubles every 24 years to at least stay at the 3% inflation rate. But like you just said, it's actually been higher than that.
Back in 1964, I love your report here, Tim, Ford introduces the Mustang with a manufacturer suggested retail sticker price of $2,368. If I could find a new Mustang today for that, or I'll go back and buy the original for that price, Tim, pay somebody a little bit more than what they bought it for.
Yeah, that's a little bit higher pricing nowadays. Things have changed.
Number 3 roadblock detailed in your report here, Tim, sequence of returns risk. Now, why is it that timing is everything when we get to retirement?
Well, we have a really powerful slide. We call it Bill and Jill. And Bill retires in 1996 and enjoys 4 years of nice growth in the markets. And his income is fine. And he's got about $1.8 million off of $1 million. And he's used about $1.2 million to have a great retirement. His younger sister retires in 1999. She has 1 good year and then goes on the skids, down 50%, 2000 through 2002. And, at the end of 20 years, she's down to about $800 in her account, and that's a real thing. And, so, 1.9 million almost for him, 800,000 for her. And she's at that point, not that old. So, and what we call that is sequence of returns risk. And I'd say 95% of people who attend our retirement classes, which again, we're having those in September, starting up when the schools get back into session at the different universities in the area. But 95% of people have no idea what that is. Even do-it-yourselfers who, think they have a handle on things, look at me very blankly and go, what is that? So yeah, that's definitely a thing.
a lot of tools out there for us to do things ourselves these days. A lot of educational information out there, a lot of resources. But Tim, it's what we don't know that can hurt us. And this is one of the biggest risks to retirement here. If we have not specifically dealt with kind of just the sheer luck factor of potentially retiring into declining markets or a down market early in our retirement. If we have not specifically addressed that risk, we could be in for a downward road in retirement.
Well, I mean, what we tell people, if you know a bull market's coming, time to retire, right? I mean, but no one has a crystal ball to do that. So you need to be wary of it, especially when we're about 12 years into a bull market right now. I mean, something needs to give. The market usually pulls back about once every 7 years, right? And we're at 12. It's getting pretty long in the tooth.
Well, Tim, another retirement roadblock here, risk to avoid or address, withdrawal rate risk. Now, the question is, when can I retire? How much money do I need to retire? At its root, at the core of those questions is really how much income can I generate from my retirement savings and make it durable, dependable, and make it last as long as I need it?
Well, the 4% rule that a lot of people used, about 15 years ago was put together by a guy named Bill Bangen, who's a financial planner out in California. And he doesn't even use that theory anymore. So what he states is back then that if you have a combo of stocks and bonds and you have about $1 million, you could pull out 4% safely every year and not outlive your money. What we found in this last, 20 years of the market pulling back 5 different times, twice for over 50%, is that theory fails 67% of the time. And so one of the things we ask people, when they're meeting with us, are you prepared to take a loss of 50%? Because that's what you've done twice in the past 20 years.
Well, again, if you would like to take a look at this booklet, the resource that Tim Stearns has made available for the retirement roadblocks, pick up the phone, give a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. And Tim, because of this risk, because of the sequence of withdrawal, sequence of returns risk, the withdrawal rate has actually come down. When you look at the retirement calculators, when you look at what is suggested by most models, William Bengen himself said that was an institutional model. It was not meant for an individual. I wouldn't feel comfortable following it myself. And then a lot of people who study how retirement should work, PhDs, the Wharton School of Business, the retirement income planners at the American College, they have all said, hey, it's really closer to like 2.4, 1.8% is kind of the range that I've been hearing more than the 4% rule now, Tim.
Right. And if you remember, we had Dr. Wayne Pfau on our show a couple of years back, and he said it's less than 3% to be safe about it, And, Templeton Funds did a research. They said it's about 2.5%. Wall Street Journal had an article where they said it was more in the, 2.6, 2.7 range. You need to know exactly what you're pulling out. And that's where the income allocation plan comes into play.
Tim, that is the specific model that is geared toward addressing these retirement roadblocks, really retirement's greatest risks, the traditional approach of asset allocation. It leaves us exposed to these risks. Income allocation, on the other hand, specifically addresses these risks with a written, detailed plan on how to create the income and structure the assets for retirement.
Right. And that's when we structure this for people, we want to make sure that they're going to last 30 years and that they know what the safe withdrawal rate is so that they can enjoy their retirement. And having a plan is huge. Not having a plan is having a plan.
Well, Tim, you make that book, Income Allocation, available. That's another resource that many savers and investors across Chicagoland have found very useful.
Well, yeah. And I think the book is real straightforward. You don't have to be, again, a professor of finance or something like that. The book speaks to what people need to know and what the risks are out there. And, we make sure we get it into their hands. We have digital versions, or, we can get the book into their hands via the mail, or they can come meet with us.
Well, again, if you'd like that book, Income Allocation, pick up the phone, give a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. If you would like your own Protect and Grow plan, including that income allocation component, but an assessment of your current positions, the accounts, the assets that you have, how much risk you're taking, how much fees you're paying, how much taxes you may be liable for, how you can optimize any of those and make sure that they match with where you want to be, and then a discussion of goals and a timeline of executable action items that you can take in order to achieve those goals. Pick up the phone and give a call. Again, the book, Income Allocation, the report, the retirement roadblocks, or your specific individual custom Protect and Grow plan. You can call Tim Stearns, and a certified financial planner will help you put those together. 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. Tim, the next one in your report here, Social Security. Now, maybe not a roadblock, but certainly something that we need to take seriously and understand that a good decision versus a bad decision with Social Security could be significantly costly over the course of our retirement.
Well, yeah, and it can also affect your spouse. So you want to make sure, one of the things we offer here is we offer the Social Security report, Social Security maximization. Do you take it at age 62? Do you wait till your full retirement age at 66 or 67, depending on when you were born? Or do you wait till 70? And we can literally get it down to about the dollar as to what you're leaving on the table, or, what's the best optimization for you.
Well, again, if you would like help with that, this can make the difference in several hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of your retirement. A poor decision, one that you have not thought through versus one where you have incorporated it in with the rest of your retirement income planning, can make a significant difference and protect your personal wealth, your assets, your safety and security of having that extra discretionary money there, because that's money you're either going to get from Social Security or you're going to have to spend down from your personal accounts. But Tim Stearns can help you make sure that you're making a well thought through and informed decision. Pick up the phone, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. Tim, healthcare risks. You tell folks and you encourage them to expect the unexpected.
Well, yeah, the second most biggest expense when you are retired is healthcare. Number one being taxation, right? And so I don't think people really get ahead of this. That's why I love that we have a CPA on staff so that we can, make sure that we take into account what that's going to look like, and formalize it. So stop being reactionary and be, proactive on that front.
Tim, the national average for nursing home care, $253 per day, $7,698 per month. Now, if you're married and you're the one that has to have that, unfortunately, first, that's in addition to the regular expenses of the healthy spouse, who might be providing both some care and have to come up with that additional income.
Yes. And again, it's a huge expense. I mean, the cost of medical care is going up exorbitantly every year, and I don't see anything stopping it. The Affordable Care Act didn't really do that. You have people who are retiring in their early 60s and they got to get to Medicare. What does that look like? And, can you quantify what you're going to be paying?
Well, to get a handle on that or to learn how to address the potential of these catastrophic costs ruining your retirement, pick up the phone, give certified financial planner Tim Stearns a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. And Tim, there are a number of approaches to each one of these risks that we have to figure out which makes the most sense and which is best for our individual situation.
Right. And that brings me up to the biggest bill that you're going to have in retirement. That's taxation. What does that look like? Quantify it. We try to do that as much as we can so that people don't have a, bad surprise come April that, they owe X. I just had a gentleman in the other day who said under the new tax laws, his wife and him went from getting money back to owing $4,000. He didn't see that coming. And that's while he's still working. So imagine what, and the kids are going to be out of the house, that type of stuff. So these are all things that we need to talk about. Right now, we don't know what taxes are going to look like. for the rest of 2021, they've talked about, raising taxes because they've been the lowest they've been in many, many years. So these are things that, we worry about for our clients, and we got to talk about that.
Tim, when it comes to taxes, we have to realize it's a pay now or pay later system. And a lot of dollars are out there in that category where people are going to be paying later. We don't necessarily know what those rates are going to be.
Right. You don't. And under President Clinton, when they changed the taxes in the middle of the year, he did it retro back to January 1st. So, Roth conversions, if you do a Roth conversion, that could hurt if they raise taxes and they go back to how that went down in the 90s. Now, with President Obama, they raised taxes again, but they made it so that it was starting at the beginning of next year, which would be 2022. What is that going to look like? No one's really said that number yet. But those are things when we're doing Roth conversions, we have to go in with our eyes open.
And Tim, we are at a historically low tax rate today. I mean, we know what they are today. Just an opinion here, Tim, but I am concerned that taxes could potentially go up into the future. And so wouldn't that make now an ideal time to do some proactive planning to pay as little as possible on those retirement accounts?
Right. And that's why we tell people, if you're still working, look into the Roth, the Roth 401k, that can get some real power behind that, and I think those things are great, especially with nowadays with Medicare doing means testing as to how much your cost for insurance is going to be per month based on your income. If all your qualified money, has not been taxed yet, well, guess what? The IRS has a plan for that. And then it's going to raise the cost of Medicare.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like this great report, Retirement Roadblocks, 7 Financial Risks to Avoid, pick up the phone and give Tim Stearns a call. He can provide you a copy of that, no problem. And as well, he does make an offer for the book, Income Allocation. Now, this is an essential retirement planning strategy guidebook. The structure of the assets and the planning described in the book have been proven to address and reduce or eliminate some of retirement's biggest risks better than the traditional Wall Street model of asset allocation. If you would like that book, Income Allocation, be one of the first 10 callers to today's program with at least $500,000 saved for retirement. But any retirement minded individual serious about your financial future, saver or investor, you can call and request the Retirement Roadblocks report as well. 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. 800-640-2256. Now, finally, Tim, you do make the offer to put together that Protect and Grow custom financial and retirement plan. As you are helping people first assess and evaluate their situation, coming up with the structure of that plan, how many times, how often do you find that people have a plan in place that addresses longevity, inflation, sequence of returns, withdrawal rate, Social Security, healthcare, and taxation, these 7 big retirement roadblocks?
I'd say they definitely are thinking about what the taxes are going to look like. And that's about it. Those other ones that you mentioned, they're not really talking about that. And that's all covered in the book, and that's why I would tell people, give us a call if you have over $500,000 worth of assets. We'll be happy to sit down with you and kind of go over your situation. Not one size fits all here. We're not a cookie cutter. And I would also tell people, if they want to attend our retirement classes, give us a call and we'll get you in.
Now, Tim, in those retirement classes, you go over more details about all 7 of these retirement roadblocks as well.
Right. It's a 2-day, 4-hour class held at different universities around the area. And, it's been very beneficial to people to get a handle on what their retirement's going to look like so they can visualize it. They have ideas, but make sure that they understand it.
Well, we all want to make the right decisions and travel wisely and safely and make it to our intended destination. That's what mapping out your route used to be and what GPS does for folks who are on road trips these days. But financially, we want to have that roadmap and that GPS as well. We've got to know the obstacles. We've got to know the pitfalls. We've got to know the toll roads in our way between here and our destination. And that's why the Retirement Roadblocks report is so helpful. Remember these important points. You don't want to go it alone, you want to deal with somebody who knows the route, an experienced, qualified advisor, professional, create a strategy, understand income, asset, and your tax allocation. How much of your assets do you actually get to keep, and how have you positioned them to achieve specific goals? And finally, keep that long-term perspective. Tim, that's what you encourage people to do with the Protect and Grow plan.
That is correct, Peter, and we'll be happy to help anyone out there.
Well, if you would like that assistance, ladies and gentlemen, pick up the phone, give a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. Again, Tim, you make that offer for putting together a custom individual plan for anyone who's serious about their planning, their financial future, for Chicagoland area savers and investors, residents. If you would like to get that Protect and Grow plan, pick up the phone, give a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. Tim, you see a lot of people with maybe a little less worry after they've got that kind of plan in place?
Absolutely. It's proven that they feel better when they leave here, because usually it seems like one spouse is handling it, and the other spouse doesn't really want to take part in it. But once they do go through it, it's much like I've talked about before, getting a physical, where you're at.
Well, if you would like the retirement roadblocks report of 7 financial risks to avoid, pick up the phone, give Tim Stearns a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. If you would like to formulate your own custom Protect and Grow plan to address these 7 retirement roadblocks, or if you would like to begin with the book, Income Allocation, again, just call that number, 800-640-2256. You can visit online, tjstearns.com, or call now, 800-640-2256. We always appreciate your time and guidance here on the program, Tim.
Thanks, Peter.
Tune into Chicagoland Certified Financial Planner Tim Stearns' full radio program on 890 WLS every Sunday at 11 a.m. and visit tjstearns.com for many valuable resources, including other great episodes of Chicagoland Retirement. Be sure to subscribe.
Securities offered through TJ Stearns, a registered representative of Crown Capital Securities LP, member FINRA SIPC. The information presented on this program is provided for informational purposes only, without warranty of accuracy, completeness, or suitability for particular purpose. This program is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. This information is general in nature, not specific enough to be construed as advice. You should not make any decision based on the information presented on this program without independent consultation with an appropriately licensed professional or competent advisor. Investment in securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals of growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs.